Meghan like us. Da-na-na. Hi, I'm Erin. Welcome to Meghan Like Us.
I'm Danielle. Welcome. We're here. Season 2.
It's season 2.
Seasons 2.
Ooh. It's so much more fun to see this show and how it's materialized from season 1 to season 2, because I do feel like there is a lot more energy and a lot more confidence. And in particular, this first episode of the season had a really big theme of stepping out of your comfort zone and being confident. And I feel like something that was really fun is they found a low stakes way to really do that. And I do feel like, just as a topic of confidence, I do feel like a thing that people don't realize is in order to be a more confident person, you quite truly have to do things that are outside of your comfort zone.
Absolutely. You literally will not ever break through on your confidence without that.
Exactly.
No challenge, no change.
Yeah, exactly. But I think even more so is because people say, or they think, well, of course, if you try something and you're good at it, that's going to make you confident. But trying something and not being good at it gives you more knowledge for the next time you do it, which will inevitably also make you a more confident person. And we saw that with Meghan in season 1. There were times where she tried things out that didn't necessarily work. There were things that you could tell she was making it on the fly, figuring things out. And I think that even in that setup of trying, failure, trying, succeeding, there was just a lot more confidence that we saw when she got out there for season 2. I sound like a sports reporter. Oh my God, let's get into the play-by-play.
She had all the confidence. She was in the place.
This is what we like to see when she gets it on that field.
You could tell they were really gelling together as a team.
But they were gelling together as a team in this episode. I loved season 1 of this episode. We get the band back together. It's Meghan, it's Danielle, her makeup artist of many years, her
BFF.
friend of many years. They get started in the kitchen, and Meghan tells Danielle that there's guests arriving. Danielle, who are the guests?
Okay, so she's got amazing chef Dave Chang and Christina Tsoi. Christina Tsoi, CEO of Milk. Dave Chang, we know from Momofoku and all the amazing things he's had. I actually got an amazing chance to eat at a couple of his spots, and his food's legit.
Something that's really fun about this episode is you'll think Milk and Momofoku. Milk and Momofoku. These are 2 very different restaurants. One's sweet, one's savory, but that's the point of the episode, is that it is a sweet and savory adventure. So we start off in the kitchen, and Meghan's BFF, Danielle Martin, and Meghan make an onion tart so that David, Christina can eat it when they arrive. And something that's really funny is right away, Meghan says, an onion tart, these are things you should just have on hand.
But she really did have things that were on hand, like butter, thyme, onion. Everyone has that.
Fine.
Yeah.
But the part of the tart that I'm not sure.
Is the puff pastry?
I don't have that on hand.
People do keep puff pastries on hand. It's not, I think in our food palette, I think our family doesn't eat as much bread. But yeah, that is something people do have on hand. I think this is a great example of having like a little, like just going through your cabinet and yielding something that looks so beautiful. Like Meghan is an expert absolutely at that. We've been seeing it now for 2 seasons. She's really good at like whipping up stuff on the fly. I'm just saying, we got to give her girl the credit. We got to give her the credit.
Gruyere cheese?
Okay, that might be hard, but people have cheese. You could have done that with Parmesan, cheddar, and it still would have been delicious.
Okay. It looked good. As we talk about growth, Daniel had another face off with a knife, and this time he was more confident.
Yep.
Because the last time he had a little knife accident.
Are you comfortable cutting onions?
I'm more comfortable now than last time.
Okay, with a knife in general. Okay, great.
Yes, I've realized I need a bigger knife to cut properly.
That's what it was, the knife's fault.
It was definitely the knife's fault because it was too small
For these small
for my
little
big manly hand.
Knives. By the way, the tart that Meghan's like, it's so easy. It does not look that. There are a lot of steps to this tart. I'm really, when I was watching them, like, she's saying this tart is easy and it's stuff on hand. And this one to me was like, I don't know, but I'm here for it. It looks good. I love onion. It looks good. I just wasn't sure.
I'm shocked.
I was shocked right off the top of the
I'm
episode.
shocked that you have this opinion.
These are my opinions.
Okay.
Danielle and Meghan, they touch up each other's makeup, and it's really cute because Danielle's fixing Meghan, and then Meghan fixes Danielle, and then Meghan starts making coffee because David and Christina have arrived, and they start talking about, like, how are you guys friends?
You two met working together, right?
We didn't work together in restaurants. We worked they weren't competing restaurants, but just different restaurant groups. But it
Very,
was sort of
very
the
early
kinship
days.
of
They were
meeting
talking
each
about
other.
clunker cars.
Exactly. Christina says, I drove David home one year for Christmas, and we both are from Northern Virginia. And Daniel chimes in, and he says, oh, I lived in Richmond once. And I did talk to my East Coast sources,
Okay.
and they told me that Richmond is not close to Northern Virginia. And if someone says they're from Richmond, it would be like someone from San Francisco telling us when we're like, we're from LA, they'd be like, I'm from San Francisco. Like, it's not close enough, but it is close.
I have no problem with someone from West Virginia telling me that they lived in regular Virginia.
He just wanted to be in the conversation, which is like us, because sometimes you just want to chime in, but it was like the chime in was almost not relevant. And that's funny. So irrelevant that it eviscerated a gut reaction to be like, that's not even that close.
Honestly, just wanting to chime in is really my point of being on this show, so I have no notes on it.
I liked it. It felt like sometimes you just want to be in the mix. Then Meghan tells the chefs that she has silkies, and you know that these are bougie chickens because she's like, oh, these are for my silkies. And they're both like, what? Like they didn't.
I think they didn't know silkies lay eggs like I didn't know.
I think they didn't even acknowledge what silkies were. So she like starts explaining them. Then they show a picture of the silkies. And what is funny is on episode 8, when Meghan goes to the chicken coop of season 1, she talks about that they don't know if the chickens are Phil or Jill, but that's just their names. So then they show a picture of one of the silkies and they're like Phil or Jill because the toddlers named the chickens.
It's been established we don't know.
No one knows the names of the
callback.
chickens, but they have 2 names, and it could be either. So then they get into the eggs, and David Chang shows how to make a perfect fried egg with crispy edges and a little runny in the middle. You steam it, and it did look really good.
Still being runny. You want it a little bit runny?
Yeah.
Turn the heat off.
And it steams.
Yeah, that's all you need.
They're a little bit smaller than a normal egg, but they look so beautiful. It's a nice, like, kind of that yellow orange yolk. Delicious flavor.
I like that the tart that you could pick it up by the hand, and they were like, oh, well, we didn't know. We thought we were being fancy. Daniel's over here eating with his hands. So everyone just digs in. They move on to where Meghan says, okay, these are the activities of the day. And right away, David shows his personality, and he's like, it's a competition. And he's like, there's going to be someone who does the best. And Meghan's like, okay, well, like, don't compete for these gifts. And then she gives them these gifts that she made. She made a gift for David, Danielle, and Christina, and we do a cutaway. And I know last episode I called this the war room, but we did go back to the crafting war room. And
the war on crafts.
No, it's just like, it is literally like the hosting. Like, what else would you call the strategy center? Like, what do they call? They call them the war room.
Strategy center. The FSS.
But that's not what. It's like this is Meghan Incorporated is happening in that room. The light is darker. It's like just not the normal craft room.
It really does look like a war room. Like, I'm sorry.
Like there's a strategy board happening in there. So anyways, we go back to the war room. It's like a garage maybe, or like a barn. I don't know. And she starts marbling, doing water marbling for these scarves, which reminded me, I did my honeymoon in Sri Lanka and they do batik on satin. And there was something that reminded me of the batik, which is like wax, but this is like with water marbling. And it made me go like, oh, I could maybe make this at home and have something. So it's kind of special. So she starts water marbling these silk scarves and 2 pocket squares for the boys. And her first one was not that great. She didn't use enough coloring.
Yeah, the color choices were a little.
And so it was a little muted.
Yeah.
But as we said, confidence comes from trying new things. She used that knowledge to go into the next one, which she makes for Christina. And she says, I'm going to do a California inspired sunset. And this one was so beautiful.
Very like 70s Poochie.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I actually wanted that scarf. It looked amazing.
Amazing. And she talks about that Christina wears a lot of headbands.
Yeah.
And so what I loved is when you cut back to them opening the gifts, Christina immediately puts it in her head, which I thought was really cute. You see her tie it and she like instantly does it, which was, I think it's great when you give someone a gift and they just use it right then. You're like, oh, you liked it. When she opens the gifts, then they go, okay, Meghan prompts them that all of the activities they're going to do today, everyone's going to do something outside of their comfort zone.
Yes.
And David's like, that's perfect if it's a competition. And Christina says, if it's a competition, David's going to cheat. And David says, it's not cheating if you win. Everyone laughs. Room full of winners. Everyone said, ha, ha, ha. And then they get into the flower arrangements.
Okay, so as they're getting to these flower arrangements, you know, David is known for being like kind of like a throw it against the wall, kind of more hodgepodgey, but still put together chef, right? Like he's kind of got like, I would say like a punk rock kind of edge to him.
A little sprezzatura.
This is the battlefield, huh? This is where it begins.
Meghan tells them to pick their vessel and pick what speaks to you. But this creates chaos. Daniel's flower pot breaks. It has a hole in it. Christina's is leaking water. The group has no confidence. Everyone's like, we're trying our best, but things are a little loose. Meghan gives Christina a new vessel and she says, but I liked the old vessel. And Meghan said, can this one speak to you too? Like there's just like
it's a lot of emotional balancing going on.
It's a lot of chaotic.
And it's like a whole bunch of people who are good at things and they're usually good at doing things. And I always find this so funny. So I also have friends who are very talented, smart women and men. And whenever I ask them to do something like, hey, let's just paint by the pool, it becomes like the hardest task because when you're an achiever, I think there's often like you just are so used to like the finish line of it all that sometimes it's not about the finish line. Sometimes it's about the journey and just sitting with something. And as someone that can live in both of those places as a high achiever and a chiller, like I can absolutely say like this was so funny to watch because they're type A. They're all again have different energies with that. Like they're very like cool type A's. But they were flipping out about not knowing how to do these flower arrangements.
Everyone's like, this isn't good. We're not going to figure it out. What I did like too, Christina talks about that she's not a flower person.
Yeah.
But then she says, I'm a plant person. And Meghan, who doesn't agree with that, instead of being like, how dare you? She just goes, how interesting. And I love that response. Like she was like, how interesting.
Yeah.
I like flowers. She didn't do anything of that.
You know what's funny too, because like Milk, I don't know if you've ever seen their branding, but it's very colorful. It's like pink. Most of the stuff.
I love Milk stuff.
And light blue. So I think I could see why it would be shocking.
It was a surprise.
Yeah.
What I also really appreciated about this segment is they're making, it didn't have to be that long. It ends up being a super long segment. And a lot of it is actually spent about a history lesson that David shares. And he talks about that the samurai would do floral arrangements and calligraphy to focus on war and to build their discipline. When he said that, I found that to be really interesting. So I actually did a little bit more of a deep dive on that. And it's a process called ikebana. And it's the Japanese art of flower arranging. And it began with monks in the Buddhist temples, but then it was taken by members of the aristocracy and the samurai warrior class. And it said that Japanese samurai practiced ikebana to reach a state of peaceful concentration and mindfulness before going into battle. And so when he says, oh, the samurai did calligraphy and floral arrangements, Meghan starts laughing because she's like, I do calligraphy and floral arrangements, which is why that room is called the war room.
Yep.
And
she's getting ready.
So she's giggling at this. But it is something that is a really interesting history lesson that doing these really mindful practices can actually help grow your discipline. And the theme of the episode, your confidence in other arenas, which I really liked. Also, they finished the flowers. Meghan's is obviously better than everybody else's.
Beautiful.
Hers is beautiful. And then they go back into the house and she does tell Christina, I did just go back out there and fix my arrangement one more time, which is
and they
classic.
all just like, they're like, of course you did, Meghan.
Classic. So they get back into the kitchen and now it's time for s'mores. Christina and Meghan are on one team. David and Danielle are on another team. Christina is now in charge. It is her time to rally the troops for a really fun activity. And she says, we're going to make graham crackers from scratch and the marshmallows from scratch. And Danielle, who is all of us, can't help but exclaim, we're making graham crackers?
Literally, I was like, girl, I was like, well, now you're going to like customize them. Because Meghan has been so much about like, bring a little bit to the table. Like go ahead and buy store-bought hummus. Go ahead and get the puff pastry from the store. Get the pot sticker paper. And now graham crackers from scratch. A big plus is really being able to customize them. That's all I'll say.
I
That's
loved
the only
it.
plus out of it.
But also David responds to Daniel and is like, I didn't even realize making graham crackers was a thing.
No, literally, that's what I'm saying.
Like, what? So anyways, it's so funny. So then Christina and Daniel bond over their s'more preference because Daniel's like, I love peanut butter. Christina's like, in my family, we only do peanut butter s'mores. I love a peanut butter s'mores too. These are my people. And she's like, you can add peanut butter to your graham cracker. So to the customization, Daniel is now going to have a customized graham cracker, peanut butter flavored graham cracker. So he's excited. He's getting all in. And I feel like in this moment, Daniel really is all of us trying to make things. Because you have Meghan, who is, maybe she's never made a s'more before, but she's understands how to cook and how to like put ingredients together. Christina, this is her activity. And David also probably could figure this out because he's also a chef. And instead, he tells Daniel, I'm just your sous chef.
He like quits on
You're
arrival.
in charge. Do it. You got it.
He's like, Daniel's like, should I cut it? He's like, I don't know. You do it.
I know, he's like, you're in charge. But what I also really appreciated is Christina forecast a graham cracker dessert future.
I believe in this too.
I think she's right, but mostly because I want her to be.
I want her to be right as well. I mean, think of what we've been doing in the chip space. Like, we have literally chips that I'm like, did they ask the astronauts to make this flavor? Because I don't know how you made this chip taste like buffalo wings. You
That's
know
so
what I mean?
funny.
With ranch and celery on it.
See,
like, it's crazy.
I was thinking,
And I can't wait for the graham cracker what explosion.
I was just thinking, I mean, it is funny because there are a lot of chip flavors. My brain didn't even go there. My brain went to like, we always have these big dessert moments. Like, it was froyo, it was cake pops, it was cupcakes, it was donuts, cronuts. Like, there's always these like the next big thing. People are waiting in line to get this dessert. And so my brain goes, oh my gosh, it'll be a graham cracker like store.
No,
and
I
you
didn't
go
think
in
that at all.
and
No.
I want that.
I don't want that.
I want the graham cracker explosion because then you go in and then it's a s'more store basically with a customized graham cracker. Like, that's cool.
I think it could be a cool business if it's like a sprinkles but a graham
That's
cracker.
what I thought.
Cool, but like, they don't need a lot of locations. We're not eating all that.
No, but there's always
No
a
one's
dessert,
eating all that.
There's always a dessert explosion, and I want graham crackers to be the move. I'm ready for it.
My Auntie Penny used to call me graham cracker.
It's cute. You're a little graham cracker. Then Meghan decides that she doesn't want a peanut butter graham cracker. Hers is going to be lavender honey. And so we have a lavender honey graham cracker and a peanut butter graham cracker. And now it's time for marshmallows.
Can I tell you guys something?
We also have a Danny graham cracker.
You in the audience. I, up until recently, had never had a s'more in my life. And I was forced by some friends to eat a s'more.
People are going to think it's a family thing, and it's not, because I've had a lot of s'mores in my life, and I've always loved them. So this is not a family thing. This is a Danielle thing. Did you like the s'more?
Yeah, it was cool.
I love a s'more. So then they get into making marshmallows, and Meghan is bougie. And so she's like, I want a turmeric vanilla bean marshmallow. The vanilla bean looked amazing. Like, what brand was that? I want that. Like, the vanilla bean she's taking out of the jar. It had, you could see all of the texture on it. And I was like,
It's paste, vanilla paste.
my mouth is watering. I
need
wanted that.
I'll get it for you. They have some at
It
my
looked
store.
good.
I'll bring it for you.
And then Daniel and David decide they're going to do a brown butter marshmallow, which also sounds really good
Delicious.
with peanut butter. That I feel like that flavor profile is good. Also, another thing I realized in this episode is the making of the s'mores from scratch seems like something that would be perfect for a kid's birthday party.
Absolutely.
Like, you first come to the party. I don't have kids, but I can just imagine, like, you first come to the party and someone's on the marshmallow station and a couple other kids are on the graham cracker station. And then once everything's getting ready, you go do something else. And then you come back
and everything's ready.
Everyone does s'mores for
One
the
of the
night.
moms had put it together.
Yeah, it seemed like a great activity. But then now we're done with s'mores prep.
Yeah.
It is now time for Meghan and David to head to the garden. As you talked about, David is known for more improvisation with his meals. So he goes and he grabs the things that are available in the garden. And then he comes back and he starts cleaning out the fridge because they're going to make some form of Korean beef. And this part of the episode brought so much life to the episode. He pulls everything out possible for dinner. And by the way, before he starts,
Like heads of cabbage and everything.
no, by the way, everyone's like, David, how can we help you? And he's like, I don't usually work with the team, so I'll let you know. And so they're like, okay, everyone's ready on deck. He starts pulling stuff out, and then he just starts shouting instructions at everyone.
Chop this, cut that, do that.
Puree this.
Daniel's like,
Watch this. And everyone starts like, just gets to work right away. And Meghan can't help but to start giggling because it really is like, you can tell that even in production when they were like, well, what do we need for you? And he probably was just like, I don't know, I'll let you guys know. And then like when the time came, it really was, I'll just let you guys know. And so everyone's going everywhere. And then there's like an artistic choice for them to keep the camera as a handheld. So like, usually in a movie, if you're at handheld, you're showing that there's a chaotic thing happening with that character at that time. Usually, like, for example, in a boxing movie, if you watch like the Creeds, they would choose to be in handheld in a boxing scene so that you're not steady because the character's not steady.
But most of the series is actually shot not on sticks.
No, I know.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
in this particular choice.
But I mean, like, but the whole thing has had that kind of
totally
chill vibe.
Specifically in this moment,
yes.
in this scene, they don't go to sticks ever. Usually when they're at the fridge, they're on sticks. Usually like when they go and grab the things out, when they're putting stuff down, it was such a change that I like noticed it. It was a change because also the cameraman is moving as quickly as David is. So there's this frenetic energy that's happening because you are in David's energy. And I just loved that artistically as a choice. Like, give them an Emmy. It was good.
I think it's really just about David's movements because the camera is actually moving with Meghan. But she's a graceful woman. She's a petite,
we're usually
tall woman.
But we're usually with Meghan, so
she's
the camera
like
moves.
so graceful.
Yes.
She moves like a queen.
Correct.
David, however, is a chef.
That's what made it the difference.
It's literally him.
We're like in an episode of The Bear.
I don't think it was a production, like, turn up of the energy so much as it is chaos was there in the building and we got to capture it.
I loved it. It was like we were like in The Bear. Everything's moving around. It's very chaotic.
The food shots. Also, the show, I would say, and The Bear have some of the best food shots on television right now.
It's beautiful. Anyways, Meghan starts laughing. She goes, this is the opposite of clean as you go. David's like, I usually do clean as I go, but this is just how it is. And so there's just like all this energy happening. And he's like, we can make a flatbread. And then they settle. Okay, so then we start making a flatbread. And as they're making the flatbread, David's like, this is actually a very underutilized thing that people can make. You can make flatbreads like very easy. You don't need a lot of ingredients and they don't need to look beautiful. And during this time, Meghan shouts out that, and this is the biggest like us for me of this episode. She says, I'm a student of Rachel Rey 30-minute meals. Because Christina asks her what got you into cooking. She said, well, you move out on your own. And when I was in college, I watched a lot of Rachel Rey. I also, not even in college, just like throughout my whole childhood, and like I love Rachel Rey 30-minute meals. I've talked about it before on this show. I am a student of Rachel Rey, the garbage bowl, how to cut an onion, all of these things. I love it. And so like Meghan shouting out that like that's a lot of her cooking inspiration. I'm like, that makes sense. Me too, girl. Me too. They end up going out to the grill, David and Danielle, to go make a flank steak. It's a very simple grill, by the way. I noticed it's just like a casual charcoal, like almost like if you were hand drawing a grill, this is the grill they cook on. And then they eat dinner and now they go out to go make the s'mores, and the s'mores are on a gas fire pit. Like it's not even like we couldn't get wood, whatever. So the s'mores taste better when you cook them with wood. I'm just going to say that, but they make the s'mores. Danielle loves the peanut butter s'more. There's almost a disaster. Meghan saves the day by catching David's with a plate. And that's the end of the episode.
No.
We learned a lot about Meghan this episode. We learned all about David, Christina, and we got to see, cutie Danielle Martin again, makeup extraordinaire. But how was Meghan for you? Was she like you this episode?
Absolutely. I felt like her encouraging her friends to step outside their comfort zones, her stepping outside her comfort zone, talking about Rachel Rey. There were so many key things. But again, like I said at the top of this episode, there was such a theme of confidence and trying new things. And that really spoke to me because I feel like that's a big ethos of who I am as a person.
Yeah, I love making creative activities for my friends. Notoriously, when people come to my house, I ask them to like paint something or draw something, and I keep it also for myself as like my art for my friends. So that was a huge like us for me. I love an activity. All right, well, that's a wrap for episode 1, season 2 of With Love Meghan, and also our recap and our review. Next week, we're covering episode 2. Chrissy Teigen is coming by. I think they're getting into some bread, right?
It's way past their bread time.
Well, that's all the time we have. Please follow us, subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You could follow us separately or together on the pod. Separately, I'm Danielle, D is for Danny on all socials.
I'm at Erin Wesley on all socials, and follow the podcast at Like Us Pod. And we really appreciate reading your comments, reviews, or seeing you like posts. So keep doing that. We really appreciate it. Thanks for listening.
Bye.